If you've got the book handy, grab your copy and you can read along. Chapter 7. Sam closed his big dark eyes. Nothing happened. He squeezed his eyelids together. "There!" he announced. Sam, we can still see you?" said Rhea. Sam opened one eye and peeked down at himself. "Yes, so you can," he said. "Sam, are you sure you can do this?" asked Will. "Shh, I just need to concentrate," he replied, and shut his eyes firmly again. And again, nothing happened. Rhea rolled her eyes and was about to say something when Sam started to change. The outline of the giraffe's body, from his hooves to his tail to his tips of his ossicones, began to glow. It reminded Will of the glowing elephant painting. At the same time, Sam's body became more and more transparent, until Will and Rhea could see right through him. Then, after a final flash, the giraffe's glowing outline faded. Sam had disappeared. "Sam?" whispered Will. He felt a snort of warm breath on his cheek. Will smiled. "Don't even think about licking me," he said firmly. Rhea reached out a hand into thin air. She almost jumped as her fingers made contact with something solid but unseen. She patted Sam's invisible leg. "Wow, that's really cool, Sam," said Rhea. "And that doesn't mean you can lick me either." "Are you ready?" came Sam's voice. Will and Rhea nodded. "I'll distract the voids for as long as possible," he said. "Are you sure about this?" Rhea whispered to Will. "It's just Sam. Well, there's a reason he's still a trainee, right?" "Hey, I heard that," said Sam. He sounded hurt. "Don't worry, Sam, you can do it," Will reassured him. "Just remember, less bull in a china shop, more graceful swan, okay?" Invisible Sam crept forward into the camp and slowly stood up on his back legs. He picked up 6 rocks from the wall with his front hooves. He wobbled and nearly dropped them. Sam turned to face the giant cage and the voids. He took a deep breath, got himself nicely balanced, and started to juggle. He launched the first rock into the air, and then the next, and the next, and the next, until he was juggling all 6. Juggling 6 rocks. Faster and faster. The effect was magical. Hypnotic. The rocks seemed to be flying round and round in the air by themselves. All the voids had turned to watch. They seemed to be in a trance. They stood in a line watching the circling rocks. Their red eyes were dull and their fangs hung limply from their jaws. As Sam continued to juggle the rocks, the voids began to rotate their heads round and round, following the circling rocks. "It's working," whispered Will. Sam was having difficulty balancing. He tottered about on his back legs. However, with great effort, he started to back away towards the other side of the clearing, away from the giant cage. The mesmerized voids plodded after the magical spinning rocks. "Look, Sam's leading them away," said Rhea. "Now's our chance," said Will. Next to him lay a long, thick branch that a void had smashed off a tree. He picked up one end and Rhea grabbed the other. They crept over the rocky wall and dashed towards the giraffes, carrying the branch between them. They stopped by the cage, out of view of Sam and the voids. "Necker!" whispered Will as loudly as he dared. Some of the giraffes looked round in surprise and began to grunt and snort. "Quiet, everyone!" commanded Necker. She swung her head down towards the two children. "Night Zookeeper, you've returned. We knew you would." "Don't worry, we'll get you out of here," said Will. Rhea was feeling the metal bars of the giant cage. "It's getting cold, Will," she said. Will thrust one end of the branch between the two vertical bars. Then, as planned, they both grabbed a loose end and pulled, leveraging the strong branch against the metal. Slowly, they began to prise the bars apart. The giraffes whispered with excitement. Will and Rhea pulled and pulled against the lever, and the gap widened further. Suddenly, one of the giraffes cried with alarm, "Look! Poor Sam!" Will let go of the branch and rushed round the other side of the cage. His heart leapt in his chest. Sam was still juggling the rocks, but he wasn't completely invisible anymore. Worse still, Sam hadn't noticed. He had led the voids to the far side of the camp. Without realizing, Sam had backed into a tree covered in void gunk. Grey tar was smeared across his coat and up his neck. The voids were fanning out to surround him. It was clear that they could see him again. The awful gnashing of metal fangs filled the night air. Clicker, clacker, clicker, clacker. The sound broke Sam's concentration. The rocks fell out of their orbit and tumbled to the ground. There was a flash, and Sam was whole again, for everyone to see. The void leader's eye glowed in excitement, and it immediately launched a jet of sticky tar into Sam's face. The other voids joined in, squirting ribbons of disgusting gunk all over Sam's neck and body. The poor young giraffe looked terrified. Void gunk dripped from his chin and dribbled down his neck, and his long legs started to seesaw beneath him. Worse still, Sam seemed to be fading. Not like before. He wasn't becoming invisible. The colours were draining from Sam's coat, which became a patchwork of different shades of grey. Suddenly Sam was looking directly at Will through the crowd of voids. Will saw the look of fear and helplessness on his face, and then, to his dismay, Will saw the light in Sam's eyes fading as they became dull and unfocused. The young giraffe tottered drunkenly for a second or two before he kneeled over in a heap on the ground. "No!" shouted Will at the top of his voice. He glanced back quickly at Rhea, who was still trying to prise open the giraffe's cage. Will was on his own. No one was going to save Sam. No one else could help his friend. Will could hear his own pulse throbbing in his ears. Sam's words came back to him. "You're the new night zookeeper. Thank you for coming to save us." Will gritted his teeth. Sam was right. It was down to him. This was his purpose here, in this strange world of the night zoo. He reached into the deep pockets of his coat. His fingers closed around a piece of card. It was the gift tag from Grandma River's present. The words on it made sense now. From here begins the battle. And then Will found his torch, ignoring doubts and fears and his thumping heart, Will sprinted across the clearing and shouted at the top of his voice, "Oi! Leave my friend alone!"